had been wanting to try the yellow stuff that came with the new base game update, with the doors, windows, as well as the beautiful kitchen set. And I also saw that Lilsimsie made the mouse shell challenge. So I thought that it would be a great opportunity to try this stuff and also work in a tiny house. And I also decided to make this limited pack, so I am building in some Sequoia and only using the base game and growing together. So since I was using growing together, I decided that this needed to have 2 bedrooms and that one of them would be a nursery. And I decided to go with this orientation of the house just so that I could have a more defined entryway. And I also decided to use both of these beautiful wallpapers from growing together, and they made the placing of windows a bit complicated. But this is what the layout is looking like at the moment. We have the bathroom on the front and the entryway next to it. Then there's going to be the kitchen and the living space in here. I am going to be adding a wall to it. And behind the kitchen we have the nursery, and the other bedroom is going to be the primary bedroom. I really wanted to use a bunch of yellow, as I had mentioned, so I am using this couch that I am not sure if I have ever used before. And I was trying to have a bigger dining table, but I realized that wasn't going to be possible. And I also tried to use a fireplace, but that ended up also not being something that I decided to keep. And I am using this base game table at the moment. I don't really like it. It didn't really fit the vibe, so I gratefully remembered that there's this outdoor table that kind of folds down. So I did end up swapping it for that, but I don't think I do it on camera. I think it's only visible in the screenshots, so stay for the end so that you can watch that. And this is what the layout of the kitchen is going to be. I am using the appliances from growing together, and I am using all of the new cabinets and counters. But I decided to size down the cabinets so that I could have 3 of them and make it look a bit more symmetrical in there. And I think that I also tried using these yellow doors, but I ended up just going for white ones in the end. I really like these doors. They are so nice and they look modern and clean. The other base game doors tend to look a bit too worn or kind of old, and yeah, I don't really love how they look, but these ones look freshly painted, so I really like that. And this is going to be a pretty big bathroom, but I wanted to make sure that there was enough for the infant or toddler. And I also got a small storage unit just so that there could be more detail in there. And I'm going to be a little bit all over the place. Now I am adding the bed, the side tables, and the closet, but I'm not going to finish this bedroom right now. Although I did add that mirror, and I was really happy with how this bedroom ended up looking like. It's very simple. There's not much to do here except sleeping and getting dressed, but I don't think it's super tight, so I really like that. And this is what the nursery is going to be like. This is the layout that I chose. I ended up using a different trash can because that one didn't really fit. And there's going to be the crib here and a Blarfy, as well as this toy box. I really like the toy boxes, and I have really enjoyed using them as bedside tables for children. I think that that's a great way of saving some space, and I also think that that bedroom is big enough for a child with a normal single bed. And now we're back in the bathroom. I think I added a window in here. I also added the going together mirror. I chose different swatches for stuff, and I really liked how these yellow tile looked on the floor, but I didn't want to use the yellow on the walls as well because I figured that it was going to be too much. But yeah, I decided to decorate using these towels from growing together and other stuff that seemed like it would be necessary for a family of this size. And I also added another trash can just because it fit and because it made sense to me for there to be one in the bathroom. And I think that that body that I added, that is green and yellow, really fit this space. And I also added that beautiful base game rug that we got when we got infants. And it really reminds me of IKEA, so I always like using that in different spaces. And I thought that it was a decent size for the bathroom. And now we have added a desk and another table to that dining room. I also decided to pick some wallpaper in here. I am not used to houses having wallpaper. It's mostly just like painted concrete. So I don't really know how this looks. I thought it looked alright, and I also am not the biggest fan of carpet, but this new carpet has a nice texture, so I decided to use it and also layer a rug on top of that, and then I am going to be cluttering these bedside tables. I am also not really used to bedrooms having carpets, or houses, really. It is more common for houses here to have tile and sometimes wood flooring. So yeah, I feel a bit weird adding carpeting, but I do know that it's common in spaces similar to Sequoia, which is where I was building. And I also wanted to kind of have a different vibe in this house to the one that I have in some other of my houses. And I also wanted to have some windows in here. I added the curtains also from this pack and some artwork. I wanted to have the new artwork, but I decided that it fit better in the living room, so I just added one from the pack on top of the bed. And this is where I realized that I didn't have enough space for a television if I was using this wallpaper and the fireplace, so I tried sizing it down, but I really didn't like it. So I just decided to go with a table. I am just using a base game one that came in yellow, and I thought it was really cute. This other one would have worked as well, but I really wanted to use as much yellow as was possible. And then I just added this beautiful new flooring that we got from the event. I think that the event is still going. If you haven't finished it and you want to get all of the items, I suggest that you go and play it as soon as you can. But I also added an entryway mat and some more stuff to that desk, but I think that I am not done cluttering it up. And I also wanted to paint the walls in here to have some sort of tile in the kitchen, but I chose not to use the new tile in here just because I really like this tile a lot. And I added a very skinny lamp just underneath this cabinet so that it wouldn't be so dark. I really wanted to have the sink in front of a window, but that wasn't possible in here. So I just wanted it to not be so dark. But I also added a column at the end of this wall so that it would look more finished and the wallpapers wouldn't clash. I think I ended up painting it white later, and I made sure that these paintings had a spot for them. And I chose these ones because they had a baby or an infant and a scene that could be their mother. So I thought that they might be the people who live here, and I thought that was really cute. That's actually a Ciudad Enamorada swatch, so I am also kind of partial to that because I'm Mexican. And then I just added some more stuff. I really liked what I did with that bookcase. I pushed it into the wall so that it looked like you had only mounted each shelf instead of having a big furniture piece. And I also wanted to have a lamp as well as a window in there so that there would be a little bit more light. And I also added some frames above the sofa so that you could have some more custom pictures of your scenes. And speaking of which, if you wanted to download this house, it is going to be on the gallery. My ID is Veranio, so you can find it there, or you can look down in the description and I will have the link there available for you. And yeah, this is where I was painting that column white and the doors white as well. And I also thought that it would be nice to have some curtains here in the kitchen. I added the ones from the pack, and I also added these sunflowers because they were yellow and I thought they were cute. And it was nice to have something here in this corner. I also wanted to have a coat rack and some aprons. And I also thought that it would be nice to have a corkboard as well as some more color here. So I have some paper towels, I think you call them. I forgot. But I also have some pencils, scissors, and I wanted to have a telephone in here. I thought that was a nice idea. So I added this one to the wall, and I felt that it was a good use of this space because it also left a lot of the desk available for more stuff. And I also have this small stereo in there because it's kind of hard to add stereos to some of the tables, but it fit in that desk, so I decided to keep it there, and it was also yellow, so that was nice. And now I am just adding some clutter to this table. I think that I mainly added the taxi because it was yellow, and I really thought that the building statues were cute. But here I am adding some more clutter to this kitchen. I really like those salt and pepper shakers. I think they're very cute and they have some really nice swatches. I picked one that was yellow and green, which were the main colors that I was using in here. And I also added a milk carton, but I'm going to go back there and change them to the other counterpiece. But for some reason, I just really wanted to add windows in here first, and I also have this curtain. I decided to have the green one because the space was a bit more green, but the pom-poms were yellow, so I thought it was a nice way of using the colors in here. And I also got this decal with the tree and the yellow leaves. And I also thought that the high chart was very cute, this one with the trees and the birds. It's a bit of a different color, but children's spaces tend to be very colorful, so I thought that was okay. And now I decided to add some more clutter in here because I couldn't fit so much baby clutter in the actual nursery, so I decided to have some wipes in here, these brushes and comb sets and everything, and just a little plant so that it felt nice and cluttered. And then I remembered that I didn't have any soap or toothbrushes, so I added those. And then I remembered about this beautiful alarm clock. I'm kind of obsessed with this item. I really love that we have it, and it's also from that event that is going at the moment. This watch in the gold is really pretty, but there's some colorful ones as well, and I think that I'm going to be adding these to most of my builds now. I just think that it's so cute. And then I wanted to have a plant on top of these closet pieces. I really like this closet because you are able to make it wider by adding two of them, and it isn't very tall or very thick, so that it fits well in different spaces, and it's very easy to add stuff on top of it, like that plant or some boxes. And then I remembered that I really needed to have a fire alarm and a burglar alarm. That word is a bit hard for me to say, I've just realized. But yeah, I also wanted to change the carpeting in this nursery, and I don't think that I added anything else to that space, but I did choose to have linoleum in here. This is also from that new event, and it's also really nice. And I changed this corner piece so that it wasn't clipping with the column, and I also really like that it has these drawers. So yeah, that's what I decided to do, and I think that that's it for the interior of the house. I didn't know how I was going to roof this, and I tried a few different things that were really disastrous, but I chose to have this sort of almost mid-century modern kind of roofline. I think it works okay. I did have to make a few adjustments so that it didn't look too weird, and I think that it fits with this space because I wasn't exactly going for the craftsman vibes with the windows and the columns that come with this pack. So I think that it works as a mid-century, and I decided to paint this space and add half walls to this corner so that it looked like it was a fireplace. Of course, from the back you can see that it's the same wall as the one in the nursery, but I think that it looks nice from the front and it made the roof work. I also added a platform in here so that I could have this space be less awkward, and I think that actually fit. And I really liked how I extended the roof to hang over the porch area, and this is what I mentioned about the nursery sharing that wall. But you can't really tell from the inside, so I didn't really mind that. And I also didn't show how I decorated the porch here in the video because I kind of forgot about it. But I just added a chair and some plants. I added the cluster of plants from Growing Together and that sort of fairy house plant. And I also decided to paint this the roof with this metal texture, and I also painted that platform with the same texture. And I made sure that all of the wall trim actually matched. And then I think I'm just going to be adding some fences and stairs to this corner. I also changed the color of the column, but I kept the door in that beautiful yellow and white. I think it's such a happy color, and I'm very happy that we have that. And this color matches really well with the siding that I was using and this really cute fence. And I also really like having those kind of floating stairs in here. And then I just needed to find a foundation trim, I suppose. And then I did something that I really liked. I sized up this rug that looks like brick, and it's meant to go under the fireplace, but it's so nice as a pathway, and I also used it for the actual backyard of this house, so I was very happy with this. This has been a surprisingly versatile object, and I also used it to park a car in front of this house. This lot actually has kind of a ramp in the sidewalk. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it looks like you can actually have a car just drive up the sidewalk. So I don't know if that means that we might get cars. I really doubt that we will get cars, because many of the rules aren't made for cars. They don't really have them in mind. But yeah, this is what I meant when I said that I was using this also in the backyard. I have a bunch of these just covered by these bricks, but I left some of it just as grass with some landscaping, and I thought that was really nice. I also added a grill and a picnic table, and in this corner I have the trash can and some bikes. I have 2 adult bikes and one for a child. Of course, the child in this house is too young for those, but I figured maybe it was the bike that one of their parents had, or maybe it used to belong to an older cousin or something like that. So I thought that it was good to have that bike ready for them and just waiting for them to grow up. And I felt that this was a nice use of the space because this corner was a bit too narrow, and I think it should be functional. If not, you could always move the bikes or make this a bit wider. And I also got a tree house in the other corner. I wanted to add a tree as well, and just some shrubbery and a few flowers. So this isn't super landscaped, but I think that it looks like it blends in with the rest of the environment. And you can see that there in the back there's a nice little like playground or something. So I think that this would be a very nice lot to live in. And I think this is the lot that is called Sequoia Cottage. So that if you wanted to place it in the same lot, that's the name of it. I'm going to also have that in the description. And now I'm just adding some shrubs in here and some vines. I thought that the vines were kind of cute, and I also decided that these more kind of boxy sort of shrubs look nicer in here. And I added some more vines to the back just so that it wasn't so obvious that the rock texture was just painted. And this is that car that I was mentioning, so I made this portion a bit thicker so that it was similar in thickness to the pathway. And I also paved the backyard a bit more, and I also decided to move the grill to another spot. I also got a telescope and some pots so that you can do gardening in here, and I also got some more flowers in here and a shrub. And originally I had the pots in front of here, but I decided that it was a better idea to have the telescope and to have the pots along the other wall. And yeah, I think that looks a lot nicer. I'm very excited about the new pots that we're getting with the Businesses and Hobbies pack. I cannot wait to use them. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm just going to be adding some outdoor lighting to this space, just along the driveway and near the landscaped areas, and just adding some terrain paint, and that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you left a like, and that way I can tell that you did like it. And also subscribe if you like this kind of content. I post regularly, and yeah. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a very nice day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye everyone!